This summer, in a collaboration between the Social Science Research Center and the University of Zagreb, a group from the SSRC took a trip to meet with others researching practical applications and methods for using big data. A total of 23 people from universities all over the world met at the Center for Advanced Academic Studies in Dubrovnik, Croatia, in hopes of learning more about the potential scientific uses for social media and Google Ngrams.
Well, the goal we had was to teach a course about some of the methods we've been using here, like Google Ngram and the social media, and to hear what they've been doing. Like, they told us a little bit about social network analysis and some other media outlets. So that was the goal, and hopefully to make some collaborations with that university.
The workshop was designed around social media and Ngrams, and these are two sources of what some people call, and I prefer to call, the creation of big data. Data sets that are so much larger than anything we've dealt with before that they present all sorts of special challenges to analyze and understand and use.
When we were in the seminar, what we were aiming to do is explore innovative data sets that are innovative social data sets for analysis, whether that included Twitter feeds or Google Ngram. So for Twitter feeds, much like when hurricanes are approaching, you can identify those people with their geolocators on, say around the northern Gulf Coast, and if you start tracking them, you can monitor their movements and do a bit of content analysis if there were a hurricane approaching, so you can kind of get a better sense of what the people are thinking, what their attitudes are towards weather predictions or storm predictions. And then in terms of Google Ngram, you can monitor cultural penetration of a certain item, whether it's food culture, like with Hispanic influence in the United States on Mexican food, and how it's become popular over time through written word.
We highlighted in the workshop software that we developed here at the Social Science Research Center at Mississippi State that facilitate and help people work with these large data sources.
Through these tools, social scientists have access to billions of bits of information. Embedded in tweets and books is information that can be used for multiple purposes. This capability opens up new options in science and marketing, as well as a number of other uses. The team feels that the trip was an overall success for everyone involved.
We had a lot of good conversations with a professor at the University of Zagreb and a professor at the University of Dubrovnik. So I think we might be able to continue working with them, and some of their students might come here and work with us.
During the workshop, the team discussed new capabilities they will be able to use for future studies at the SSRC.
Well, we collected tweets along the Gulf Coast in order to basically study human interactions in the midst of the storm, which we've been unable to do it up till now because you can't exactly get a researcher in the middle of it and get reliable data. But using our social media lab, we can basically collect large amounts of data without being obtrusive to the people in the midst of the storm, and it's real time. So that's a new feature that we hadn't been able to do before, and that was something we talked about while in Croatia. And another study we're doing is collecting tweets along the US-Mexico border. While there's not people going from the United States to Mexico and vice versa, there is communication via social media, and we want to just study what that cross-border communication is like. And there's also issues of like drugs and violence, and we want to see if one side talks about it more, if they talk about it differently, and get a better idea of the attitudes on both sides of the border. Going to Croatia was really beneficial to the SSRC because we got to meet a lot of people there, learned a lot more about social media that we didn't know. We were able to share our ideas with them, and I think overall it was beneficial for us and for them and the Italians and other people that went.
While they learned a lot and gained many helpful contacts, the crew said one of the most amazing parts of the trip was getting to explore the country of Croatia.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it was not what I expected, but it's very Mediterranean. Like Dubrovnik in particular has like mountains on the backside of the city and the Adriatic Sea on the other side, and the water's as clear as I've ever seen. It's just a beautiful place.
I would say the most beautiful or most interesting part about Dubrovnik, Croatia is that when you see pictures of this city, they do not do it justice. Whether from the beautiful landscapes to the scenery of the water and the islands out into the Adriatic and Mediterranean Sea, there is no way to fully capture what you feel and what you see, because it is incredibly gorgeous place.
It was a great trip, a lot of good stories. Definitely glad I went.